Hey guys, thanks for joining me this week on For All Things Lexington. It's the only show dedicated to Lexington, South Carolina. Here, you'll hear me talk to people, groups, bands, and organizations about where to go, what to do, and who's who in and all around our beautiful Lake Murray. I'm your host, Angela Barrett, and this is For All Things Lexington. Hey guys, I have today with me David Hake. He is the director, publisher, owner of Lake Murray Lifestyle magazines. If you're around in Lexington or anywhere around the lake, I think we'll get into that. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for reaching out, and I'm flattered that anybody wants to talk to me.
Yeah, that's funny. You actually have been awarded or were the recipient in 2023 of the A. Lehman Farmer and Volunteer of the Year and the Lexington Chamber Ambassador of the Year.
That is unprecedented. Not that I ever here to pat myself on the back, but yeah, when I've been an ambassador for a couple of years, so there's a points issue, so you kind of know certain things are coming. So I was somewhat aware that
right
up for the Ambassador of the Year, and as I told you, I said that's what I get to do for a living. I walk around town and I meet businesses, and that's what I get to do. So when that was awarded, I said, oh, that's great, thank you very much, and then all of a sudden this other award popped up, and I saw I was a finalist, and I said, well, and I was sitting with my wife, and I said, well, I can't win that because you don't win 2 awards here. But as I found out, Angela, I'm sorry, I said, went to the board chair and said, David actually is really our volunteer of the year. And he said, well, then give it to him.
Yeah.
There's no rules that said he can't win both or earn both. And
right.
So that's
well, that's great. And I had, a lot of people had said that you do a lot for the community, and that's great. I mean, not only by this, but physically as well.
Well, I try to do. I think I'm in a catch-up mode. So I said, I was in the corporate world for 35 years, and I was not involved.
Right.
I mean, we just at the corporate level, it just wasn't that critical to be involved with chambers, things like that, and.
Right.
So we never were. And, I transferred a lot, moved around, so when I decided to leave that world and go to this side of the house, I said, I've never been involved in a local chamber, so I'm either going to jump all the way in or, go do something else. So I made the commitment of I'm all in, and, I want to get in, and I'm not from here. So I figured I really need to do some homework, and I got to get involved. I got to meet a lot of local people that have been here forever.
Yeah.
And I'm a northerner, so I don't play
that against you.
I know, but I play the card that my son went to the Citadel. I kind of get immediately adopted.
Right.
But now you're okay. He's one. Your son's one of us, so then yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Now, like you said, you haven't always been here, and you haven't always been. I'll call it the marketing world. For right now, you clear that up for me, I'm sure. But you were in the corporate world for a long time and did move around. It was, I think, help me, the corporate insurance world, I guess.
Correct. So it was an insurance financial brokerage firm based out of Chicago. I didn't work in Chicago, but we were actually the 4th largest in the world for what it's worth. Most of my clients didn't care about that, but we tried to sell that.
Sure.
We tried to sell big is better. When we were, it's like sell what you had. And then so we sold. That big is. We always said big is better. So it did give me the opportunity to from Philadelphia, worked in Manhattan for a while. Eventually went to Florida, and then we came back here. Not back here, but to Columbia via part of our mergers and acquisition team, and that's what got us here. So my client base was mainly banking folks. We did a somewhat sophisticated. I sold it. Good thing is I didn't put it together. I just sold it. But it was a risk mitigation plan for banks.
Gotcha.
And that was based out of London. So banks are my community. That they were my clients, and so I learned, I've been able to know, of course, from sales to marketing to and then advertising actually came later when my boss came and said, "Hey, you're gonna buy our advertising for us." And I said, "Well, what do I know about advertising?" So I got a chance to learn from some pretty sharp people on how to buy.
Gotcha. And it's still a different hat than what you wear now.
Yep, exactly. So now I'm on the other side of the house. Now I sell advertising. I mean, our magazine is totally advertiser supported. It's not a subscription base, so it's small, medium businesses to support.
Right. And so we're talking about the Lake Murray lifestyle. The point of this, give me what your thoughts and direction were when this came along.
So I am part of, we have two different brands. All right, so we have a national platform, all right, called City Lifestyle. All right. The local platform is wherever the publisher is located. So my wife and I own Lake Murray Lifestyle, but we're part of a corporate entity called City Lifestyle. That's that's like my back office, my designers, my layout team, photographers. We have writers there. They handle our social media, website, you name it. It's really a turnkey that comes from the City Lifestyle brand based out of Kansas City.
And City Lifestyle is a marketing / business. What's the word I'm looking? There's a word I'm looking for.
When I think of it, I'll help you out.
Yeah. In other words, you help companies. You can go in, somebody can say, "Hey, my company, we could really use some help."
So I'll backtrack a little bit of why my magazine's a little bit different. Technically I sell advertising. That's what I do. But you can buy advertising anywhere you want, from the chamber to billboards so what I put together in conjunction with City Lifestyle, but City Lifestyle is really our back office. But we've become, don't hold me to this one because it's changing rapidly, but we're about the 12th largest media company.
Consulting, by the way, is what I was
consulting. So when I bought in just shy of 6 years ago, I was somewhere in the category, like I think I was the 40th, something like that, publisher to buy into the platform. We're now pushing 200, all right, nationwide, I think just about every state. So what we buy into is City Lifestyle is the back office. Nobody really knows City Lifestyle. They know the front end platform, which is Lake Murray Lifestyle, and then myself. All right. So ultimately, when I launched this, with all the other magazines out there, my wife said, "Really, we're buying a magazine? Like we don't have enough?" And I said, "Well, we don't have enough that do it the way I want to do it." And that's a cliche because everybody's going to say that I do it differently.
Sure.
But what I put together is a platform of the way I learned to buy advertising. All right. And I think that's different because most people don't sell it that way here. I sell our advertising based on 5 points of the way I learned how to buy. And it's all creating impressions. That's what all advertising is, create an impression so somebody remembers who you are when they want to buy what you have.
Right.
So the print is our base. We have a digital that is supported via our City Lifestyle. So we have a national digital platform that really nobody else can have because of the buying power that we now have with 200 publishers. We have a social media platform that is supported by Kansas City. Now, it's also supported locally by my, full disclosure, my two daughters. My one daughter is my editor, and then my other daughter is an ER nurse, but she's a critique of social media.
Sure.
So
it's okay. My son's drawing a logo for it.
Yeah.
Piece of art.
So they can always say, "Dad, we saw one of your posts because it's misspelled." They fix it. So, but then what I also added, it took me 3 years to build this solution. Because at the end of the day, that's really what we provide. We sell advertising, but we provide solutions. There's a lot of solutions you can go out there. So we provide solutions to get a business in front of a certain targeted market. But the other platform I added was a newsletter. Took us about 3 years.
3 times a week?
So 3 times a week our newsletter goes. And I do it.
I don't even know that I had that much to talk about.
Yeah, really. So it's interesting because I don't either, even though contrary to popular belief, I can. So I subscribe to a lot of unknown websites that people don't even think about. Cheddar.com, Need to Know. It's like really, so what I try to find are 4 or 5 bullet points that you might not know today. So it's not what the president's doing. It's not what the governor's doing. It's not what the Gamecocks did yesterday. Don't care. I don't touch any of those subjects. You can go all over the place to get those. What I do touch are things that I think you either need to know, should know, or want to know. And I have about 4 or 5 sites that I canvass in the morning. Takes me about 45 minutes, put it together. And then I have a template. All right. And the newsletter is on the newsletter, it's only for advertisers. Now, that's not who gets it. We have about 26,000 subscribers to it now.
They can subscribe through the website.
They can subscribe through the website. I'll run my own advertising, or I'll have a unique domain that just advertises to subscribe to our online. So the online newsletter gets the digital version of that. So as soon as you sign up for the digital version of my magazine, then you get the newsletter. You might not always know that, but people do that.
Yeah.
So when they're subscribing, they're getting my digital magazine, and then the newsletter comes really behind it. And so it's advertised. So that is advertiser. When I say advertiser supported, advertisers get a logo and a hyperlink to generate more and more impressions for you as a business owner. So it's my local, support local, and then I break it down with my advertising.
And so, but what if they've already got all the logos and all that kind of stuff? I mean, is it?
So when you say logo, so your logo, so for instance, that's a retirement community.
Right.
All right. The logo is on my it's on the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the heading might be my local, support local, and then I'll just break it up in sections. So you will see the retirement community's logo.
Okay.
All right. And then if you click on that logo, it will take you to their website.
Okay.
So the newsletter tells you that support local, click on their logo to find out more information about that retirement, or Marine 360, click on that logo.
And so,
and we give it away. So it's not an upsell. It's part of the solution that we provide.
The digital end of it.
The newsletter end of it. The digital. So the print is our base.
Right.
Right. The digital is our next platform, right, which is totally unique. Our advertisers, our clients get their own digital link that is the back end of my website, but it's your link. Link. You get 5 photos. You get 100-word narrative. That's what Google searches. There's some little known facts. I'm not a Google expert, but like the first 100 words, because people say, why only 100 words? It's like the first 100 words. That's like the first 100 words, as I'm told, that's what Google is searching for when it's looking for keywords and things. So that's the biggest boost you get in your SEO, as I'm told.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but it's powered by Google Maps.
Right.
So anytime they see that, they can click all around. They can find out more. They can go to their ad, go to the magazine, go to their website. They can just go, they can see it on the map. Hey, where is Angela located? So that's the digital footprint. We're getting statewide, because I have a colleague in Aiken, I have a colleague in Charlotte. So between the 3 of us, we're generating about 12,000 searches a month.
Well,
statewide.
Nice.
So,
well, and a lot of people, when this shows up at my house, not this one, because you brought this one, but this, when it comes to my house, what I'm interested in is, one, the articles, and then, hey, what business, so you do. So, I mean, we don't think about it or I don't, even though if I sat down to think about it, I would know. I mean, or it would, it's an advertising. I mean, and you sell advertisement.
Absolutely. So what is also a component of what we do, again, why are we different? In addition to those solutions and social media, we have about 15,000 followers organically built over about 6 years. We do events, we do try to do that. I'm trying to get into the monthly event now that we're 2 years post-COVID. But we host events. We just had one at the Corley Mill House. We had about 100 people there that just came out. We've got one coming up at Lexington Country Club. It's called the Night Out with the Pros. And I have the golf pros give lessons. And it's just a meet and greet. So they're there. But the kind of the guts of the magazine, though, what's different is it's just as important what we don't do as what we do.
Right.
So our magazine contractually is 50-50. We'll never be more than 50% advertiser or 50% content. That way it's not just, here's just another advertising platform, right? Because we actually want people to open it and read it, so then what's critical is
dog ear pages.
So it's critical for us to generate content that is different, that is unique. So that's probably the biggest challenge that we have. And our City Lifestyle helps with that. We have national writers that pull down things from national content that we get access to because people want exposure to our national database, because every single month we have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 million impressions a month corporately. So it's getting people's attention. And hey, we want a story in that. We want a story in that. So locally, we try to always feature one or two things going on locally that maybe they don't know. The biggest thing that my wife and I do is, I think we're the most philanthropic publication, period. And I say that because over 5 years, I believe we've told just shy of 20 stories for nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had 6 or 8 covers for nonprofits. And we never take a dime. I don't take any money. I'd never take any money from nonprofits. They fight for what their money is. And if I can help them raise money by awareness in our publication, then that's a success for us. And they have advertising budgets. We're different. We don't take that. So we're looking for those kind of stories. Again, I don't tell stories about the Gamecocks. Clemson, don't really care.
Right.
I care as a fan, but not as, we want the publication, we want the editorial piece to be different than everybody else. No offense to how a roofer builds a roof, but that's not what people want to read about. They might want to read about, what's the roofer do? What's him and his wife do? What do they read? What do the kids do on the weekend? And by the way, a roofing business allows us to support what we do in their own philanthropic way in the community.
Correct.
And that was why, because sometimes telling, a prospective business, hey, I'm not going to tell them how to invest their money.
Right.
I'm going to tell them about you, maybe some things, how you do it, but it's really, why should somebody get up in the morning and call Angela?
Right.
Or whoever. So that's what,
Yeah, I agree with you. There, you make people stumble on where I have to fall a little bit personally about you, not just about what you're here for, but if we don't, they're going to tune right out.
That's really, we're proud of the nonprofits. I mean, I'd love to do more. I mean, the chamber has a nonprofit council that I'm making a concerted effort to really get more and more involved with them. But I can tell you, one of the nonprofits we did is Providence Home. Was our cover for last June, our Father's Day men's issue. And Christy Cox is a friend of mine that runs the business development. When we did a story on them, we did 2 stories in June and then fall. The reason I bring that up is they had one of the largest donations ever based on the coverage story that we did. It was anonymous. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the dollar was. It was very rewarding when she called us to say, hey, we thank you. I was one of the big fundraisers for an operation called Lighthouse for Life.
Yes.
Which supports, to stop human trafficking. And we got deeply involved in that, raising money. And one of the rewards they gave us is they allowed me to rappel off the Hub building in downtown Columbia.
Nice.
30-story building. So it was fascinating. And, But those are things, that we want to get more. The more I can, the more I get involved in that kind. Because I think the magazine resonates well. Because look, everybody wants to support, somebody that in need, whatever it is.
Right. Sorry how this came along. I couldn't choose one organization to attach to. So here we are. I get to talk to everybody.
Yep, absolutely. So shameless plug, our medal issue will be the 100th anniversary of the Junior League of Columbia. And I love to tell stories. One of my big questions I ask, because I don't write. My daughter's my writer. But I ask, has that story been told before?
Right.
Because I'm not a big fan of rinse and repeat.
Right.
So when I met the folks at the Junior League, and I said, somebody's had to tell this story. And said, well, they couldn't have told the 100th anniversary. I said, no, I got that. But what happened in 75? It said, no, nobody's. I said, shame on my colleagues out there. So, we did that. And, same with somebody that I've become good friends with. Alicia Barnes used to be an anchor at, I think it was WIS here. She get mad at me, but she left and went to Fox. Anyways, we did a story on her, and now she's been on numerous magazine covers. I met her at a function at the Heart Association. And the long story short of it is, and I said, there's a fascinating story that Alicia, and I knew before I met her, because I read about her upbringing, but she's also an acclaimed artist. She's an award-winning interior decorator, an award-winning anchor. And I said, so I met her, and I said, Alicia, I want to actually tell your story, but not those stories. I said, I want to tell, and we put her on the cover of our February issue of Black History Month. And we told the story, and she says, nobody's ever asked me about that part of we told the story of her upbringing in inner city Atlanta. And I said, that's what resonates for why I want to tell your story. You can mention that you're an artist and all that, but that's been told. This is what we want. This is what we want to do. So
yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I like that, and I try to get something a little bit. And most people, I'm able to find at least one little thing that, one, they had no idea I was going to bring up, and then two, that nobody's ever asked.
We all have it.
Right.
No, said we don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Even the good things. I mean, we all have some, deep, dark secrets, and hopefully not all bad, deep, dark secrets, but yeah, we all have them. So, so.
That's right. You can't do that on everyone. I mean, just some people have a better way of hiding it than others, but, so just stories that you get, because, I mean, again, some of them are local and some of them are not, and who chooses what the local stories are?
So part of my challenge is to find, and I love to go in search of, all right, and contrary to my wife of 44 years might say that I don't listen well, but you don't get 44 years without somewhere listening to something. I actually have become a better listener if you just listen to what's going on in the community. And I wasn't always good at that, because I didn't have to. Now I just listen, like whether it's at chamber meetings or whatever anyone might say, and it's like, there's a storyline, there's a lead, and I, so then I love to ask it, like, hey, it's like, hey, tell me more about X, whatever X is.
Right.
And then, has anybody else told that? Were you on the news a month ago or something? It's like, no, nobody's ever asked, or, so then that gets me deeper into it where I'd like to do that. Then my job's done. Then I turn it over to my editor, my daughter, and then she takes the storyline there, and she knows what I'm looking for, and she knows, and she was a journalist. She part-time journalism major in college, and she became a school teacher.
Sure.
And but she knows the fundamentals of that, and then and she knows how we want the stories put together. So then that becomes, her job. And sometimes it's just editing, or you might want to write it. We do allow, people to write it. Most time we have to take the first person out of it, because let us tell your story.
Sure.
Not you tell your story. But a lot of people, oh, I did this, I did that. And it's like, okay, we did this or whatever. So,
right.
But that's easy to edit, so then, and I do, I do hire writers. We've got a litany of writers from, I like stories on fitness, and my fitness stories are targeted to the demographics of our publication. Our publication, 65% women, 55 is about our targeted age.
Mm-hmm.
So a fitness story will be, it's not about a 22-year-old that just graduated from college, here, give it to your daughter. What do 55-year-olds need to do? So we do nutrition stories. We do investment things. Maybe it might be a new investment strategy that somebody, that hit the market. Years ago was Roth IRAs, or I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah.
But so we're always looking for those kind of things as well. Something different. Why should you pick up the magazine?
Right.
Just like our covers. The cover is my choice.
Yeah.
My wife gets a vote, but she knows really, we don't get it right all the time, but the cover is, the cover is the first thing that you see of what we do. And if it's not appealing, you probably won't pick it up.
Right.
You'll never get inside, it's a beautiful home, and it's curb appeal. Our cover is the curb appeal.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or know someone you'd like to see on the show, contact me at forallthingslexington.com. That's the number 4, allthingslexington.com.
For All Things Lexington has been brought to you in part by Lake Murray Lifestyle Magazine and by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.